The day Adaku gave birth to her son, Gel, it felt like the heavens themselves rejoiced. After 10 painful years of childlessness, tears of joy replaced the tears of sorrow she had wept for so long. No more insults from Mama Chica, her mother-in-law. No more side glances from neighbors. Her miracle had arrived, and with him, her redemption. Gel became Adaku's world, her sun, moon, and stars. She vowed to protect him at all costs, even from the world itself. From the very first day they returned from the hospital, Adaku made it clear, "Nobody touches my son without my permission." And she meant it. One wrong move, one mistake with his clothes or toys, and the staff were fired on the spot. As Gel grew, he clung to her like a shadow. He refused to play with the other kids in the compound, choosing instead to follow Adaku everywhere. At first, it seemed sweet, innocent even. But as time went on, the bond began to look unnatural. If she laughed at one of her husband Chica's jokes, Gel would throw tantrums, stomp his feet, and scream, "Mama, come back!" Cheek warned her, "This boy is growing too attached. He needs independence." But Adaku laughed it off. "Don't be jealous. He just loves his mama." But love, when unchecked, can turn into something else, something dark. As the years passed, Gel's possessiveness grew stronger. Adaku, blinded by love, encouraged every bit of it. She refused to discipline him, refused to let anyone else care for him. And when one of her maids tried to bathe him and he screamed she had pinched him, Adaku fired her on the spot, no questions asked. But it didn't stop there. Gel began sleeping in her bed when Chiki traveled. They showered together. Adaku saw nothing wrong with it. "He's just a child," she told herself. One day, her mother visited. "You shower with your son? Adaku, this is dangerous." But Adaku dismissed her with a wave. "He's innocent, Mama. He doesn't understand." But Gel was understanding more than she realized. At school, he became aggressive, especially toward male teachers. He challenged their authority, even fought them. When reports came home, Adaku brushed them aside. "He's just strong-willed." By the time Gel turned 15, he wasn't just protective, he was possessive. He followed Adaku everywhere, glared at any man who spoke to her. Even her neighbor, Mr. Okoro, once innocently said, "Adaku, you and your son look so good together." Gel launched at him like a wild animal, shoving him into the wall. "Don't ever talk to her like that." Chiki had had enough. "Adaku, can't you see? This isn't love, it's obsession." But Adaku wouldn't listen. Then came the final blow. One evening, as Adaku prepared dinner, Gel sat quietly at the table, staring at her. "Mama," he said softly, "I need to tell you something. Something I've been hiding." "What is it?" she asked, smiling. "I love you, Mama, but not the way a son loves his mother. You're the only woman I've ever wanted." Her heart dropped. "Gel, what are you saying?" He stood up, eyes wild. "You're mine. You've always been mine. No man deserves you, not even Papa." She tried to run, but he blocked her path. She called Chike in a panic. Gel turned furious. "Why are you calling him? He wants to take you away from me." When Chike arrived, Gel attacked him, screaming, "She's mine, not yours!" That night, Adaku could no longer deny it. She had raised a son who loved her. In the wrong way. A son who couldn't see her as his mother anymore, but as a woman who belonged to him. In desperation, they sought help. Adaku's mother took Gel to a pastor. The man declared, "This child is cursed. He must be delivered." But when the pastor began his ritual, Gel snapped. He tore the pastor's robe and had to be restrained by security. Every visit to a new pastor made him worse. Gel moved into Adaku's bedroom and refused to leave. "Mama," he said one night, "if I can't have you, no one will." Adaku, horrified, finally realized the nightmare she had created. She considered sending him to boarding school, but she knew he wouldn't go. Then, one night, the unthinkable happened. Gel tried to force himself on her. Adaku screamed. Chike, luckily returning from a trip, rushed in and called the police. Gel was arrested that night. Sitting alone on her couch, tears rolling down her cheeks, Adaku whispered to herself, "If I had only drawn the line, if I had only let him grow, if I had only listened." The night ended with flashing blue lights and the clatter of handcuffs. Silence settled over the house, heavy and unforgiving. The walls, once filled with laughter and lullabies, now echoed with regret. The weight of every ignored warning, every dismissed concern, pressed down like a curse. The boy who once clung to warm arms with innocence had been led away, cold, emotionless. His departure left a void no miracle could fill. For days, the house stood still. Curtains remained drawn, meals went untouched, and conversations died before they began. Guilt hung in the air like a fog no one could escape. He had warned, pleaded, shouted, but no one listened. Time passed, but the wounds stayed fresh. When the boy returned home on bail, something was different. The spark was gone, replaced by silence sharp enough to pierce the heart. No tantrums, no tears, no affection. Just a hollow stare and the occasional eerie smile. One night, during the hours when the world should have been at rest, the figure appeared at the foot of the bed. Eyes fixed forward, not blinking, not speaking, just watching. Then, the whisper came. Forgiveness. Ownership. A promise. Terror rose like bile in the throat. He had forgiven, but not forgotten. The decision was made. This had gone beyond love, beyond obsession. Help was needed. Real help. A facility, a distance, a reset. But the plan was too late. By dawn, the room was empty, the bed untouched, the window slightly ajar. Gone. The search was frantic. The police were called. Neighbors volunteered. But the days stretched long, then blurred into weeks. Hope began to rot into fear. Then came the package. No name, no return address, just a worn notebook, familiar and full of shadows. The pages revealed new thoughts, new obsessions, declarations, drawings. The final sketch showed two figures, mother and son, hand in hand, surrounded by a red heart. The third figure, the father, was violently scratched out in black ink. Collapse followed. Breath failed. The body crumbled to the ground under the weight of dread. Hearts don't just break. Sometimes they punish. Memories of laughter turned to nightmares. Innocence that once brought pride now brought panic. The home that was once a haven became a prison of the past. He couldn't stay. The separation was inevitable. There were no more words to speak, no more apologies to give. Peace was too far gone. But peace wasn't what haunted the night. Every whisper of wind, every creak in the hallway, every shadow in the corner carried the question. Was he back? When love is blind and boundaries are blurred, what begins as protection can end in destruction. A miracle, twisted by obsession, can become a curse too powerful to break.